It's a pleasure to be here today. Today is a great day to be a Grambling Tiger. We were able to solidify 24 prospects, new G-men to come into Grambling State University, which is a huge year for us. We're expecting big things from these young men. I'm going to kind of briefly just go through them, and then I'll take any questions after that. First, we were able to tap into some of our junior college relationships, and we're able to get some offensive linemen, which really are going to help us next season. We were able to get Terry Boyd, offensive lineman from Hines Junior College. He's a center. We were also able to get Jeremy Hill, who's an offensive lineman from Hines Junior College as well. We were also able to get a transfer from UL Lafayette, Louisiana, by way of Edna Carr. He was a state champion, tight end, Anthony Jones. He's about 6'5", about 240-something pounds, so he'll look good getting off the bus and also playing well as well. We were also able to get Devontae Alfred, who led the team with 46 pancakes at his high school. Very exceptional football player. Terrence Brigham, another offensive lineman from the Houston area. He was an all-state player, very athletic, very dynamic football player. We were also able to tap into Alabama, which is another state that has been huge for us. Cornerback Skylar Calhoun. Alabama State, he ranked 37 in the state. He played 11 games this year, had 10 tackles, 6.4 pass breakups, 70 total tackles, and then 44 solos. Percy Cargo, who's a 4.0 student from Donaldsonville, Louisiana. He's a safety. He's about 6'2", 6'3", maybe about 200 pounds. Dual athlete, plays football and baseball. Very, very good football player. He was ranked 277 in the state of Louisiana. D-tackle Curtis Carson, who's all Metro in Mobile, Alabama. Participated in the North and South State All-Star game. You'll see him on his highlights from time to time, and we have the highlights here available after I finish. He's a very athletic young man. 6'2", 6'3", 270 pounds, plays defensive tackle, defensive end, but then also he plays some dual threat quarterback. So you'll see him on film running with the football, and he's a very fast kid, runs about 4'7", 4'6", also plays basketball as well. So we were able to get a steal when we were able to get him. We were also able to get Jeremy Carter, who's a safety from the state of Alabama also. He ranked 18th. He also plays football and basketball. Most of these kids who are great athletes, you'll see that they play both, but just an exceptional football player. Very, very long, rangy, has the ability to catch the football when the ball's in the air. Also is a physical tackler as well, and then runs extremely well also too. Probably the flagship guy, it's about 4 guys on this list. Quarterback Javon Cherry. He's from Oklahoma. He ranked 110th. He was one of the top athletes in the state of Oklahoma. He had several Division I offers, but wanted to play quarterback, and we were fortunate to get him. Just an exceptional athlete, dual threat athlete, has the ability to run as well as throw the football, and then is a great person off the field. So we were very, very pleased to get him. We were able to also get Miko Jackson from the state of Georgia, from the Atlanta area. He's what we call a Tiger, which is an athlete that has the ability to play running back and receiver. He ranked 144th in the state of Georgia, runs a 4.3 40, has great hands, great speed, led Atlanta in all-purpose yards, and was also all-state. So I was pleased to get him. Also, Marshall Jackson from the Atlanta area is a linebacker. Basically brings us a lot more length and athleticism at the linebacker position. Talking to Coach Graves, and Coach Todd, we wanted to try to get longer, more athletic type players at that position. Marshall Jackson, he was an outstanding football and track athlete, in high school. He runs the 200 meters. He's about 6'2", about 210 pounds, but he runs the 200 meters just as fast as some of your smaller guys. Run 21.9, 200 meters, somewhere around in that range. And then we were able to get Jamie King, who's a quarterback from Azle, Texas. Outstanding quarterback, about 6'3". He also plays basketball as well, but he has great ability to run with the football and also throw the football. Threw for over 2,000 yards this past season. Just a great football player and an even better person. And then also is the leader of his team also. Another guy who's probably one of the guys that are the focal points of this recruiting class is James Leatherwood. He's a safety from Alabama. He's first team All-State, All-Alabama. Outstanding athlete that played offense and defense. He ran football a lot as a quarterback on offense, but what intrigued us is his ability to really be physical on defense. He's a great football player, very competitive, and you're probably not gonna meet a guy that's more confident in himself and his ability. And I think that's something that helps our football team anytime you're able to add an athlete that has the ability to bring that kind of self-confidence. Lee Montgomery is another linebacker that we signed. He's second team All-State out of the state of Alabama. Very physical and dynamic player. Led the team in tackles. Had over 100 tackles in high school at Parker High School, and then led the team as a junior and a senior year in tackles. Shannon Morales is a linebacker from Faraday High School that we signed. He played quarterback and linebacker. We liked him on both sides of the ball. This is a kid that we fought over offensively and defensively. And anytime, you guys know, anytime that your offensive and defensive coaches are fighting over the kid, you know the kid's got to be pretty good. So we were pleased to get him. He jumped in the boat early with us and pretty much stayed firm. You know, in the day of recruiting, you know, guys jump ship and make moves all the time. And this guy here is just a great young man that made his decision. He told me when he committed, he always wanted to go to Grambling State University. Faraday High School is black and gold, and he said, why not continue in the same colors? He led the team with 96 tackles and also 5 sacks. As a quarterback, he passed for over 2,573 yards. So just was a great football player for them and a physical young man. He had 20 passing TDs, and he averaged like 117 yards a game in high school. Another guy who's a great player that's one of the focal points of this year is Trey Nathan. Trey Nathan is a safety from West St. Mary High School down south. A very exceptional football player. He was courted by several high schools. Several universities. I'm sorry. Second team All-State, 52 tackles in 7 games. Runs a 4.5 40, but he's a very big kid, very athletic kid. And then also runs track and runs the 400 meters. One of the top players in the state. We firmly believe that Trey has the ability to be an impact player very early. We were also able to sign Paul Nosworthy from Baldwin High School in New York. We do have contacts up there, so that's how we were able to land Paul. Paul is about 6'4", 280 pounds. He ranks 76 in the state of New York. Also plays basketball as well, and averaged 17 points a game. Can you imagine a guy 6'4", 280 pounds moving up and down the floor and dunking on people and things of that nature? So just watching him on film, he was hard to pass up. And you know, when Coach Dooley and Coach Nord brought me to film, I just couldn't believe that we had a chance of getting him. So he committed this past Saturday, and we were excited about getting him. He led the team in total pancakes when it came to blocking on his high school football team. We also signed E.J. Prather, who's a corner from the state of Texas. He ranked 130th in the state of Texas. He's one of the top DBs. He's also a kid that has the ability to play corner and safety for us. We're excited about E.J. E.J. came on his visit, and his mom and dad committed before he did, and then he committed, you know, a little bit after them. I think they kind of forced the issue a little bit, and then once he got on board, he was excited about Grambling State University. Ever since he left here, he's been wearing black and gold every day, so we're excited about him. Another top guy is safety Guy Stallworth He's a junior college All-American, led the team with 89 tackles and 4 INTs from Southwest Mississippi Junior College. When you see him, you won't think safety. When you see him, you'll think linebacker. That's how big and athletic he is. Very, very physical, very, very confident, and like we say, Coach Graves says all the time, you know, we like those kind of players that hit through the third man. He's the type of guy that he's going to try to run through you. He's not trying to tackle you. He's trying to end up on the other side of you. So we're very excited about Guy. He's going to give us some much-needed depth at the safety position, and we're looking for great things out of him this season. Brandon Varner is from Atlanta, Georgia as well. He's from KIPP High School in Atlanta. Just an exceptional athlete. He's the type of kid that has the ability to play offensive line and defensive line. He's about 6'4". Right now, he's about 255 pounds. His dad is 6'4", 300. So we're expecting him to be anywhere from 280 to 300 here in another year or so. But it's a very athletic young man that runs extremely well, runs a 4.6 40. His arms pretty much drag the floor, which means you pretty much have something when you got a kid like that. So 3.0 student, just one of those type young men that you can't pass up. So we're excited to have him. We also have Brandon Wiggs, who led the team. He's from Southwest DeKalb High School. We all know how important Southwest DeKalb was to us when Coach Robinson was here. Brandon Wiggs led the team with 115 tackles. I know some of you may remember the name Coach Buck Godfrey. Coach Godfrey was very instrumental in getting Brandon here to Grambling State University. His mom came and she was excited about Grambling, excited about the place, and Brandon committed to us, and we're just elated to have him. He also had 6 sacks while at Southwest DeKalb High School. Malcolm Williams from Arkansas. He's a linebacker, football and wrestling superstar. That's a very dynamic young man. What impressed me about Malcolm is we asked Malcolm, I asked him in our final interview together, what is it about your visit here at Grambling State University that really stood out the most to you? And the thing that he mentioned was getting the opportunity to listen to Coach Ellis speak. So I want you to understand how much of an impact you made on some of these young men, and he talked about it. And you know, to get a young 17 or 18-year-old to know people by name, you know, it's a little different these days. But I'm very excited about him, about having him, and what he plans to bring to this program. And then lastly, we were able to get Darryl Woolen from Frisco, Texas. He's an offensive lineman. He's an honor student. He bleeds black and gold because he was born from black and gold. His mom went to school here. And he's an honor student. He had offers from the Naval Academy and also West Point, which says a lot about the type of student that this young man is. And he's an even better football player. Led the team in pancakes, and just a dynamic person. The thing that I can say about this class is these kids are high character kids, which is something that's important when it comes to building a successful program. This class is the first really true class where we all put our heads together and went out to all of the different areas and obtain these kids. Last year was more about trying to hold on and put a class together. And 2 quarterbacks who were #1 and #2 on our recruiting board, and that says a lot when you're able to get the top 2 guys on your recruiting board. 1 tight end, 7 offensive linemen, which was a focal point for us this year. 1 defensive lineman who was a difference maker. 5 linebackers, 7 defensive backs, and then 1 tiger, which is a running back / receiver type of body, for a grand total of 24 new G-men. So it's a great day. I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about what we're building here, and there are great things to come. Any questions?
What would you say your biggest emphasis was coming into this class?
The biggest emphasis was really trying to revamp our offensive line and also get some players depth-wise for our secondary. I thought when you watched us play there were glaring needs to be able to run the ball more effectively, but then also we needed to be able to have depth in the secondary so we can help ourselves in the secondary in the passing game.
What do you think the biggest difference between year 1, year 2 recruiting was?
I think the biggest difference was we were able to stretch ourselves a little bit and get to some areas that we weren't able to get to in year 1. In year 1, it was mainly about how many guys are you recruiting? How many guys were you recruiting at the other school? All right, let's put our heads together and put those guys together and really try to, put a class together. We were able to get a lot of quality football players, a lot of quality defensive linemen, a lot of quality receivers out of that class. But there were some other areas of need that we weren't able to get. But when you look at this year, everyone did a really good job of hitting all of their areas in the state of Louisiana and then also getting to the out-of-state areas and solidifying this class.
Obviously, you didn't get a huge chance last year to go out and recruit, but still had a chance. Was there, was there a big difference in terms of the way Grambling State was perceived after kind of struggling the past few years? You guys came out and had a good season. Was it well perceived by the recruits?
Definitely, and I think that's something that we're continuing to build here. We don't focus on the past. We focus on the future. Grambling is here. We're going to stay here, and we're going to be here in the future, and we're going to be even better in the future. So, I think people are starting to understand what Grambling is about and what the Grambling brand is bringing to the table.
You were talking about getting a couple of your first choices. What does that say about how strong that you guys are kind of coming out of the gate in just your first true recruiting class?
I think it says a lot about our coaches because when you have an opportunity to play a football game, you're basically advertising for your program. So the opportunity to solidify 2 of the top quarterbacks that we wanted, that says a lot. That says a lot. And when you look at the type of offers that these kids had to get them to come to Grambling State University, that's big. And I think it says a lot about Coach Joseph, Coach Dooley, Coach Todd, Coach Nelson, Coach Nord, Coach Graves, Coach Cooper, our baseball coach, all of them. So. It's just a special group. Coach Fobbs, all of them, they just do an exceptional job, and I think it's refreshing as a recruit when you come to a place and you see the type of person that resembles your father or someone that you would want to learn from, and that's a good place. Any other questions?
Is that something that you guys really tried to pitch? Is the kind of the, will be like a father to you as well? Because I know that was something that Eddie Robb was able to do for a lot of guys for many years.
Well, we feel our job is to fill in the gap. If you look at the scope of college football, if you just watch ESPN, you see a lot of things happening. A lot of young men are misguided or not guided at all, and they end up making mistakes that they should not make. We just feel it's our duty to fill in those gaps and try to help as many young people as we can to be successful. And successful is not necessarily making it to the NFL. Successful is understanding what to do with what you get when you do get there.
In your recruiting pitches, you ever sneak in the Southern Classic, get to play on national TV?
Well, that's part of it. You have to use everything that you have in order to get as many student athletes as you can. I think what we do and who we play and in the venues that we play pretty much speak for themselves. There's not many universities that can say that they play in front of those type of numbers year in, year out, and play in those venues year in, year out. So we're fortunate, we're thankful, we're continuing to build this program, and anytime you can pinpoint your class being better than it was the previous year, and you're able to get student athletes that are equal to or as good as your top players that are currently on your team, and they're 17 or 18 years of age, that says a lot about the direction that you're headed.